Ready, set, atheism. Here is a glass of water. See how still it remains. Here is a flame. Note how the water begins to react. At 100 degrees Celsius, the water is boiling. This is caused by science. But hello, what's this? It's Vishnu the Preserver, here to interrupt this physical process with spells and mumbo-jumbo. Yes, religion is the natural enemy of science and seeks to thwart it at every turn. But fear not. An atheist has arrived to observe the science and banish this pesky deity back to the realms of superstition. But what is an atheist? Atheists, otherwise known as logic lackeys or inner peace poopers, are men and women just like you or I. The atheist, however, knows everything. It is absolutely impossible that anything can exist beyond his sphere of knowledge or understanding. Atheists know that the world was not created by the cunning work of giants, bearded men with strict rules on garden etiquette, or hatched from an egg, as they all personally witnessed the Big Bang. They were present at the time of all religiously incited atrocities throughout history, thus making their knowledge of such events second to none. The atheist is enraged by religion and its ceaseless efforts to conscript the common fellow into religious service. The countless hours of effort put into this endeavor by religion infuriates the atheist, and so he will spend most of his days on the internet telling his fellow man what to think and feel about religion telling him what to think and feel. It is impossible for an atheist to leave anybody to peacefully make up their own mind, and their opinions must be loudly proclaimed every 3 hours. The atheist is repelled by holy objects, and reading a passage from the Bible will trigger their defensive mechanism, causing them to foam at the mouth and radiate pure spite from their faces. To survive the vast coldness of the godless universe and the absence of an afterlife, most atheists are fitted with a protective layer around the brain known as the Dawkins diaphragm. This prevents anything which cannot be proven in a laboratory from penetrating the mind, and also prevents the atheist from seeing the word theory, replacing it with a much more acceptable and pleasant word, fact. Religionism and atheism are very different. When a priest tells fans of religion something, they must accept it on faith, never entirely sure as to how true it is. When a scientist tells atheists something, however, they immediately rush off to their own personal laboratories to prove the fact for themselves, thus ensuring that science is always correct about everything all the time. Furthermore, where Christians worship a giant bearded man in the clouds, atheists pledge their allegiance to giant robots in space. Atheists do not believe in religious concepts, such as good and evil, but regard themselves as a force for good, using intellect to defeat the evils of organized religiosity. They can often be seen defending their AIDS-free, abortion-filled world from the dark forces of Catholicism. And here they are, assisted by Canadian crackpot Troy Hurtubise, who is testing out his new religion-proof suit with the aid of Bobby Davro. Keep fighting the good fight, chaps. Atheists believe that religion prevents the intellectual development of mankind, and considered this point intently whilst listening to manufactured polystyrene harlot Miley Cyrus, shamelessly sponsoring the comedy of Jack Whitehall, and communicating dreadfully via the internet. They are forever perplexed as to how practicing Muslims never seem to get any better at it, and instead prefer to think about stuffing cats into boxes and the dreadful consequences of butterflies using their wings. Science has proven many useful things, such as oxygen, and whether or not dogs have accents. But religion and science cannot coexist. Should these two forces ever touch each other, it could spell the end of the universe. So, world, prepare yourself. Get ready, set, atheism.